All right. It says we are live on YouTube.
I'm seeing
Let's
that
uh
too.
let's double check this and make sure it's actually are you seeing that it's actually broadcasting?
No, I'm seeing it in Zoom. I'm not seeing it on YouTube yet. So let's see if it's
Divi
coming through.
Space live stream. Okay, I'm
There we
seeing
go. Yeah, I can see us.
us. Okay. Normally we have the talented David Blackman running the Zoom controls, but he's spending some time with family around the holidays. And
Getting a bit of Thanksgiving joy going on.
yeah, last time I talked to him, he's in Texas, and he was going bowling. So
Nice.
yeah, which is kind of fitting, with his shiny head.
He can stick it in the machine and get a free blow.
Yeah, get a free wax. All right. Well, first off, we want to welcome all of our new subscribers to our Divi Space YouTube channel. We have been running the contest for the iPad Pro giveaway, and we'll be announcing that after Cyber Monday in the coming week or so. But we had over 20,000 people enter that contest, which is insane.
That's amazing, isn't it?
20,000 people, the power of the internet. So with that, we have like over 1,200 new subscribers on our YouTube channel, and we just want to welcome everybody. Go check out all the awesome tutorials and other videos that we have in our channel. And of course, as many of you know and are participating in, it is Black Friday 2018. So SJ, have you been out today pushing around in the crowds and trying to get deals on like Furbies and things like that?
No, I didn't. But I did. I was waiting for Black Friday to buy a certain present for my kids, which I won't mention because they can hear me from here.
Okay.
So yeah, I was waiting for today, and then I was like, I got up this morning, checked the deals, and I was like, yeah, boom, that'll do. Straight away ordered, and that's as crazy as my Black Friday is going to get. I'm definitely not sleeping in a tent just to get a TV like 50% off. That's not happening.
Yeah, we live in a small town up in northern Arizona, and we finished our Thanksgiving dinner last night. And my wife had her eye on this, Black Friday TV deal. It was like a 55-inch Vizio or something for super cheap. Um, so finished Thanksgiving dinner, and I'm just exhausted, and I'm terrible with crowds anyways. I get anxiety, and I get
Punchy.
claustrophobic. Yeah, yeah. So busted out the nunchucks. Um, so my wife talks me into on the way home stopping at Target and saying if we can get this TV deal. So we go in with the kids, and we got our 2-year-old and 5-year-old, and we're pushing our way through the crowds back to the electronics. And of course, the TVs are gone by the time we got there. So that was the extent of my Black Friday shopping that I did. The rest of it I do online. I do Black Friday, Cyber Monday. We order a lot of stuff.
It's the way to do it. Do it online. Avoid the crowds.
It
Don't
is,
get
but
punched in the
yeah,
face.
it is. But a lot of stuff is in store, which
Yeah.
obviously we at Divi Space and Aspen Grove Studios have a hard time doing in store. You can't like
Yeah.
physically come in like over to our house and buy the stuff. Of course, SJ, if somebody wants to go visit you in your home and make a purchase, you're going to welcome them in, right?
Probably not. No, I'm gonna go with a no. Did you see this news article about a guy that was dressed as a brown bear breaking into people's tents?
I did not see that.
So a guy in a very realistic costume of a brown bear was just pouring into people's tents while they were outside on like last night waiting for the Black Friday
Okay.
deals. I was like, that's brilliant.
Was that in the UK or?
I'm not sure. I think it might have been in the US,
Okay.
but
Well, I was
we
going to say
don't really.
in US, there's a chance like you might have a gun pulled on you. So
That's true. Yeah, we're
it's
not
a
as
little dangerous.
crazy about the Black Friday deals this side though. So like, I mean, I suppose for English people we're crazy, but compared to like the stores you're in, it's probably
Yeah,
not the
you
same.
don't have the same consumer madness.
It's
Well,
probably someone will just say, "Excuse me," loudly. Excuse me.
well, of course, this is a busy time of year for us, and I know SJ, you've been working very hard. Our whole team's kind of lacking sleep, but we're having fun. It's a fun time of year. It's an interesting time to be a WordPress or a software creator because we are able to put on these deals, and we're very busy. it's very competitive, but I think on the backside, we're also cheering everybody else on and hoping everybody does well. As many of our subscribers have probably seen, Aspen Grove Studios and Divi Space are doing Black Friday deals. So the primarily the deals are pretty cut and dry. We're doing 37% off all products across the board. That's plugins, that's child themes, that's two of our courses. We're also doing 37% off on our memberships, and we have reintroduced our lifetime membership, which was extremely popular. We pulled it off the shelf. We reintroduced it for Black Friday, and after the season is over, we're going to remove it again. So don't miss out on the lifetime membership, lifetime access to all of our products, unlimited installations on as many of your own sites or client sites as you want. And we have also revolutionized and reintroduced versions of a couple of our most popular plugins, a couple of the most popular Divi plugins ever, Page Builder Everywhere and Divi Switch. So I'm going to let SJ kind of talk a little bit about, in brief, about Page Builder Everywhere. And then SJ, are you down for giving a preview of Switch?
Yeah, okay. Why not? Let's do it. Firstly, right. I just want to say that if any of the team are watching this, get back to work. No, but
Pablo?
Like seriously, yeah. Everybody that has been working just round the clock to make sure that all of this stuff is delivered on time so that we can get the best deals out to our community. So a massive well done to the whole team. It doesn't matter how much planning goes into, like we started like months and months ago. We're like, okay, Black Friday is this day. Let's sort of work out what we're going to do. It doesn't matter how much planning goes into it. Black Friday, Cyber Monday are always crazy. This weekend is always crazy.
Yeah, it always goes to the last minute. Yeah.
Yeah. And to be honest, I wouldn't have it any other way, because it's kind of, it reminds me of being back into like when this first started and you had to code everything yourself and you were up all night making sure that everything was finished.
Yeah.
It feels entrepreneurial to be up at midnight still like tapping away at code, you know? So we've been working really hard to make sure that stuff is finished. We gave you a preview yesterday of Page Builder Everywhere. The day before of Page Builder Everywhere. And there's loads of cool new stuff that's gone into that. Switch is probably the biggest change of those two. So if you had Divi Switch before, then you'll, in fact, let me share my screen because it's probably just going to be the easiest way to do this. This screen, if you let me know when you can see this.
I am seeing that. Not used to seeing the Windows logo.
Not used to living on a dream machine. All right, so let's just look at let's get this out of the way. Let's look at a basic layout on Divi. So Divi Switch used to have its own little tab in the Divi options. So you'd click here, and then under here, you'd have an option for Divi Switch. Now, what we've done is we've changed that. We've actually moved Divi Switch into the Divi theme options. So just alongside your general navigation tabs and everything else, you now have Divi Switch. Now, it's still split down into sub-tabs to show you kind of the various different things and make it easier to find the options. But there are a ton more options, and there are some that are gone. So there were some things that we put into Divi Switch when we first built it because Divi didn't do it. Now Divi does it. So you now had the choice between whether or not you were going to use Divi to do it by default or whether you were going to use Divi Switch to do it by default. And we found that some people weren't even aware of the fact that the feature was in Divi Core because they're so used to doing it with Divi Switch. Now, as much as we possibly can, we want to make sure that we're encouraging everybody to use the features that are built into Divi Core and then use extra plugins to do stuff beyond that. So what we've done is we've, anything that Divi does itself, we've removed, and we've extended the functionality even further beyond the standard with some new options and new switches and new types of switches before as well. So if you remember the old Divi Switch or 2.0 up to, I think it was 2.3 before we updated it, was just switches. So it was toggles, it was toggling things on and off, and there were a few customizer options as well. So The new Divi switch has a whole bunch more things. So there's switches, there's select options, there's upload options. We've really utilized all of the settings that are available within Divi, within the Divi theme options, to make sure that this works really well. Now let's look at a couple of those and go through them, what things that you can do. So if we have a look at the integration tab, you can now use the Divi hook. So when Divi 3.0 was released, there are 3 main hooks for entering content or entering extra content into Divi using these hooks. And those were before the main content, after the main content, and before the post content. So what we could do now is, let's say if after main content, we can pick a layout that we have saved to our Divi library. So I'm just going to choose services, and I'm going to save changes. And then on the front end, that will be visible at the bottom of the page. But we'll show you that in a second.
SJ, real quick, I think it's coming from your display. There's like a black box over there to the right.
Here?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. I figured it was coming from your display. So.
Yeah, I think it's where our pictures are within.
Okay. Yeah, I was wanting to make sure people didn't think it was like, you know, blocking the theme options and Switch. So. Okay,
cool. Yeah, so we'll save that there, and then we'll have a look at. Let's look at archives, and let's say add category title to the top of pages, and let's remove the sidebar. So before we save this, if we just have a look on the front end. In fact, let's go to a post, because that's going to be the easiest way to show it. So this is the standard post. And you can see here that now, because we saved the integration tab, services here, for our layout, now we look at that, we can see that we've got this being output on the front end. So this will be on every single page. So let's look at examples of where you might want to use that. If you've got a custom footer that you've built using the Divi layout, you can now output that on all of your pages with a flick of one switch. It's that easy to do. So let's look at an archive page. And you can see here that by default, so even on archive pages that don't usually harness the Divi builder, you can see that we've pulled in this new section here. But what we also want to do is we just click the switches to get rid of the sidebar and also name the archive at the top of the page. So let's have a look at that. So back into archives, we've got those 2 things saved. Let's save changes. And then let's refresh that. And you can see there that that's now outputting the archive title above the page as well. And it's got rid of the sidebar. Both things that you wouldn't normally be able to do with Divi, both things that are extremely easy to do now with Divi Switch. So let's look at the author page as well. And you can see that that will now change to author Stephen. And then if you went to uncategorized, it would change to uncategorized, because that's the name of the category. So that's quite a cool little feature. And again, this is all customizable from within the WordPress customizer, the Divi Space Divi Switch customizer. So you can fine tune that. Now, you can see this footer that I've output here. Now, I actually think that would make a good menu. So what we could actually do is we could upload that as a mega menu. So let's say all of these things are services. Let's upload that to the mega menu. Now, there are a couple of plugins out there already. There are a couple of tutorials on how you can make a mega menu out of a Divi layout. Nothing is as easy as what I'm about to show you. This is just the easiest way by far to do this. So if you go into your Divi library, and you click on the layout that you want to add as a mega menu. So let's go to services. On the right-hand side here, you can see a new option has been added. So this isn't something that is normally there. This is something that's being added by Divi Switch and also by Page Builder Everywhere in the next update. So this is cross plugin content because it's actually really relevant to both user cases, both plugins. So if you click on menu item and choose services and update, that's as easy as it is to get a mega menu to work on the front end. So if you compare that to even using Divi's built-in mega menu, you have to go into the menu item, you have to add a specific class, and then you have to move submenus around to get that mega menu to work. And you can't use layouts on the default Divi mega menu, but you can with this. So if we look at that on the front end, let's go home. What you'll see is once the page loads, this is now being added as a mega menu to here. And it's as simple as that. So that it's so easy to now create just really awesome, really feature-rich mega menus using Divi Switch. Now, if we go and move the page down a little bit and start focusing on mobile, there's a couple of things that I would want to change here. So first of all, on the mobile menu, that now takes up too much room by default. So I'm going to want to collapse that menu by default. What I'm also noticing is that I've actually only got a small menu here. There's just 3 items, but look how quickly that mobile menu kicks in. So I'm going to want to change that as well. So and I'm also going to, just for this demo, I'm also going to change this icon here. So let's do that first because that shows off the new theme customizer. So if we go into our theme customizer, and this will show you something else that we're working on as well. So really the aim of what we've been aiming to do with our products is to, instead of thinking, right, what's the next new product? What's the next new product? We're looking at, okay, what's the next new feature that we can add into existing products? And the reason that we can take this view is because now we have the membership. We're more interested in what we can do for other people. So let's have a look at what's going on here, something weird. Bear with me 2 seconds. We'll just try and see what's happening here. Okay. It's a weird bug. Okay, so if we go into our Divi Space settings, and we can change this icon. So what we've got here is we've created this custom mobile menu icon setting. So what we can do is we can pick some other object. So we can pick anything, any one of the icons that come with Divi to replace that menu. But what we're going to do is I'm going to keep it simple. I'm just going to keep it the same as it was before, just with a box around it. And I'm going to publish that. And then we're going to get back to doing stuff in the back end with Divi Switch. Okay, so if we pull down a bit, you can see that that icon's changed. I think that looks pretty cool. So let's look at some of those other options then. So back to Divi Switch. So theme options. Divi Switch. And let's look at some of those mobile customizations. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to click collapse submenu items on mobile because I want my submenus to be hidden until they're clicked on. So we'll do that. The second thing that I'm going to do is we looked before and that mobile menu point is kicking in way too soon. And that's because Divi's default breakpoint is 981 pixels for when that mobile menu kicks in. Now, by default, there's no way of changing this without a whole bunch of CSS and it's going to get complicated. What you can do here is you can quite easily input a different number to what you want that to be. So you input the number. If you hover over, you can see a bit of an explanation. So you can put in any number without the pixels and you can choose to save. And then what that's going to do, let's go back to the front end, refresh and move this down a bit. Okay, so if you remember before, we were getting to about here before that breakpoint kicked into place. But now we're getting right down to here before that breakpoint kicks into place. So that's a much better UI for what we're trying to do, considering we have such a small menu item. So what we can do here is we can say, if you look there, so you can see that the services is now collapsed by default, and we can click on it to open it. And that's, again, that looks much better than it did before. So those are just a couple of things that are available. Now, here is my favorite new feature of Switch. So this is, and there's lots of things that you can do. And if you've used Switch before and you already have it, then you'll know lots of the things that it can do for you. One of the best new features is the import export feature. So what we can do here is we can choose a file and we can import and export our options. So if you've spent a whole bunch of time configuring Switch to look exactly the way you want it to do and have all the switches and all the different things set up, what you can then do is you can click import. You can click export, and then you can save that file. Now, if you're using Switch on a different site, you can simply import that file and it will configure all of your switches as you have it on your default site. So we've heard a lot from people to say that one of the first things they do when they're setting up a new site is install Switch. Then they do a bunch of stuff, and then that's their starting point before they start doing anything else and building out the website. If you do that, you now have a really, really cool way of importing and exporting those switches as a file. So that's a huge, huge update. The other thing that we hear from people is, I really like using Divi Switch, but it feels like cheating. It feels like this is so powerful and it's doing so much for me at this startup process that it feels like cheating. And there's a reluctance to leave Divi Switch on client sites, for example, where somebody is paying you to do this work and you're using Divi Switch to do it extremely quickly. So what we've done is we created a plugin export. So what you can do here, if you've used the child theme builder, then this will kind of feel similar to you because this is the plugin builder. So you give the plugin a name, a description, the author and author URL, give it a plugin version, and then export your plugin. Now, everything that Divi Switch was doing for you will now be built into a functionality plugin that you've named and can be added to the sites you use. So maybe this is another way that you could also speed up the startup development on your sites. If you're doing the same thing over and over again, export it as a functionality plugin, and you can chuck that on as many sites as you need to. You can chuck it on as many client sites as you need to. No one ever has to know that you've used Divi Switch to do the things that you've done to Divi. So I think that's a huge value add.
And that's going to be a feature of the Unlimited Pro version. So you need to have the Unlimited license to have that export plugin version. The standard version will be just as powerful, just excluding that.
Yeah, so everything else will be included within the standard version of Divi Switch, and you can use that as a functionality plugin, just as a development and design plugin, just as you usually would. And if you want the ability to export these things out and use the functionality plugins as much as you want, then that would be the Pro version. So this is when we updated from Divi module editor to Divi Switch, we had loads of people saying, whoa, that was a huge update. This dwarfs that update in terms of functionality. This is a huge add. So we're very excited about it. This and Page Builder Everywhere have had some seriously cool functions added to them.
Definitely. All right, SJ, that was a pretty awesome demo there you gave for short notice. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to demo because there's so many features now that, you know, it's fun. And Sarah Oates has been doing some great videos, so I look forward to seeing kind of what comes out of this one, because this is so feature rich that we could spend hours demoing this. And because of the way it's now set up, it's a lot easier for us to update. So when new switches need to be added, they can be added at such a faster clip that expect regular updates now of Divi Switch and Page Builder Everywhere.
Definitely, yeah. We've already got for both of the products like thousands of ideas for these. Our team's always brainstorming and coming up with ideas. All right. Yeah. So, and a couple of other videos we've already previewed Page Builder Everywhere, and I'm going to go ahead and in this YouTube chat here, get to YouTube. Sorry, I've got like 1,000 tabs open. I'm gonna pop in. I'm gonna pop in the sneak peek that Sarah gave for Page Builder Everywhere, and that is a pretty robust overview. Essentially, in Page Builder Everywhere, the new primary new feature is wherever you have the text editor, the rich text editor, you can now easily add in a layout. So what's awesome about that is it allows you to, like, in a slider module, you can add in layouts from your Divi library. In tabs, you can add library layouts. You can have layouts inside of layouts inside of layouts and get extremely creative. It opens you up to all sorts of other possibilities, custom post types that may not be supported by the Divi builder, and it's just absolutely awesome. So
it's very cool.
Yeah, it's an amazing tool. We've created some great demos, and Sarah's video that I posted here shows off the power of Page Builder Everywhere. So, okay, so to recap, we have our Black Friday sale, Cyber Monday sale going through Cyber Monday, 37% off all products. We have reintroduced the lifetime membership, one payment on the lifetime membership, 37% off. You get access to all of our current and future products. This won't last forever. We're going to pull the lifetime membership back off the shelf after the holiday season. So grab it while you can. So yeah, head on over to Divi Space and check it out. It's the best deal in WordPress, I think.
The FOMO should be real here, guys, because if you could see our roadmap, then you would grab lifetime now, because if this year was crazy in terms of the amount of things that have been developed and released, next year is even crazier. So yeah, we've got some very, very exciting things just straight out the gate. From January, stuff's going to get really, really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we have 27 child themes, 25 plus plugins. The memberships include free layout packs, icon packs, all kinds of stuff. So it's definitely a great deal. And yeah, head on over, check it out. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to contact our support and we'll answer those for you. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for tuning in. Once again, welcome all of the new subscribers, everybody here in the States. I hope you had a great Thanksgiving, and we're looking forward to the holiday season. We'll talk to you soon.
Cheers, guys.
All right. Bye.